Kia ora, good evening. New Zealand saw a 10-year high in the net gain of migrants in September. A drop in the number of people crossing the pond to live in Australia and an uptick in arriving migrants led to a 2,700 seasonally adjusted net gain, according to Statistics New Zealand. This marks the highest figure since July 2003. The number of New Zealanders moving to Australia has fallen consistently since December 2012, says the report. More arrivals from China also provoked a 7% hike in visitors to our homeland for the month. A total of 21,200 people from China visited New Zealand this September, compared with just 14,000 in the same month last year. Chinese Consul General Madam Tan Shui-Tian has spent the last 2 days in the region visiting both tourist and business attractions. The Consul General was yesterday on Stewart Island, overlooking Sanford's salmon and mussel farms. Today she visited Stabecraft Marine, Quality Foods, Mayfield Elk Farm and Niagara Sawmill. Madam Tan is based in Christchurch, a city she favours not only as the capital of the South Island, but also as the birthplace of Riwi Ali, a New Zealander who dedicated decades to the Chinese Communist Party. Hunter Andrews asked her about her Southland experience.
Very impressive, yes. Your nature preserving is one of the best in the world. So we admire New Zealand as a country, and your ordinary citizens have very good sense of sustainable development.
Is it the sort of destination that Chinese tourists are looking for in New Zealand?
I think so.
And of course, you would encourage New Zealanders to visit China as well. It's reciprocal.
Yes, we wish more Chinese visitors will come to New Zealand, either doing business or spending holiday. We expect more New Zealanders to spend holidays in China, to do business in China.
Now let's talk about business. You're here at Stabecraft. What are your thoughts on this Kiwi innovation? It's quite amazing.
Very impressive. Very impressive. And we see these quality products. We are very happy to see these quality products has a lot of Chinese factors.
Where do you see the New Zealand or Southland Chinese relationship in 10 years? Do you think we'll be doing a lot of trade together?
Yes, I think so. A lot of trade together, a lot of education together, and people will have a better mingle culturally, educationally, and in terms of business.
Why have you based yourself in Christchurch? Is that just a central location for you in the South Island? Are your interests in the South Island?
Very much so. Christchurch, because why we're based there? Because it's the capital of South Island. Easy transportation, and the major population based there too. But South Island is a very impressive place for creativity, for business, for culture, for education.
And there is a connection with China, with Riwi Ali?
Yes. He went to China in 1927, in very early years, when China was fighting against foreign invaders. And then after China's liberation, he remained in China with the Chinese people to rebuild China. He spent 60 years in China, so he is very well remembered. He was selected by the Chinese people as the most outstanding international friend, one of the most outstanding.
A group of tech-savvy locals are attempting to put Southland on the map as a hub for IT innovation in New Zealand. Jim Dowling, William Finlayson, Josh Dean and Avinash Varghese, founders of web and app development company Digital Stock and graduates from the Southern Institute of Technology, have created an interactive app for smartphones called Holocard, which turns regular business cards into an interactive platform. Although still in its early stages and one of several projects the team has been working on, Digital Stock technician Jim Dowling says they have high hopes for the app in the future.
Essentially it is a augmented reality business card viewer. Now the word augmented reality probably doesn't mean much to you, but basically it's like putting videos, 3D models or anything you want on the back of a business card. So you look at it through your phone and you make cool stuff appear.
And what can it be used for?
The Holocard's got a lot of applications. It's got a really kind of wow factor. You can look at something and see a 3D model appear, or a video, perhaps an animated logo. But it's also got a very practical application in the fact that you can instantly have your business card sheet of 6 people. You don't need to put any numbers in. All you need to do is look at the business card on your phone and save the virtual card.
And what are the potential uses for it?
Okay, the potential use for it, I know it's a big image, big idea, but revolutionise networking. Currently you have a big stack of business cards and you print a lot of them and you waste a lot of them and nobody really cares. With this, you can put a business card on the table, 5 people can pull up their phone, look at it, save you to their phone without needing to put any numbers in, and then instantly you're connected on social medias like Facebook or LinkedIn.
And where did the idea come from?
The idea was a bit of a pivot. I believe the businessy word for it is from a startup weekend idea, which was an idea was using a game and augmented reality, where we're like, this would be quite cool on a business card, and it'll be an awesome way to connect you to people. So yeah, I guess that's where it came from.
And how would you say it differs from other business card scanner apps?
Okay, well, most business card scanning apps currently, they just go by text recognition, which means they have no idea what they're looking at. They just try to figure it out. With ours, using points of uniqueness, it's the text and it knows what it's looking at, and from then we can connect to an online service and provide exact content, so there's no guesswork involved, it's exact once it's detected.
And where would you like to take it in the future?
Well, I'd like to head up a storm in Invercargill and get a lot of people on board in Southland, and then take it New Zealand wide. I'd really like it, in a couple of months' time, if people are at business or networking conferences and they're all pulling out the app, looking at each other's business cards without handing them out and killing the environment with thousands of business cards everywhere. We're just trying to make Southland a more exciting place, trying to bring a lot of business and IT innovation to it, because we're kind of lacking in some ways in that area. So I think if we can have something really cool and really recognisable from Southland, it'd be good for us.
Stay with us. Coming up, MP for Invercargill Eric Roy discusses the region's relationship with China. Welcome back. As reported earlier in South Today News, the Chinese Consul General is in the region visiting local businesses. A visit to Invercargill MP Eric Roy believes will help cement the relationship between Southland and the Asian economic giant. Mr Roy is cautious, however, and warns the region and country against putting all our eggs in one economic basket.
Well, firstly, for New Zealand, it's hugely important. It's important across probably 3 or 4 areas. One is they're short of protein, there's constant demand, they're now our biggest traders for meat, both by volume and value. They're a significantly increasing market as far as tourism's concerned. They're a big part of education, which is kind of an export, and they're continuing to develop high-tech goods around computers and a whole range of things which will be increasingly important.
And they've become our major trading partner now, haven't they? Export.
Yes, certainly. China has passed Australia, and we are the only and the only Western country with a free trade agreement with China. The growth in China is just about unbelievable. Almost every week I'm getting inquiries about protein and opportunities in New Zealand, milk, mutton, lamb, wool, fibre, the lot. And there's just an insatiable demand. I guess the big risk for us is just how far do we embrace that? Because people my age remember what happened when we were dependent on Britain and they went into the common market. So if China was to get sniffles, we're going to get bad influenza if we put too much in there. But certainly they're a huge opportunity.
Our attitude has changed a little over the years, hasn't it? I certainly remember when a Chinese dignitary visit, there would be talk about what was going on with China's expansion around China, if you like. I'm talking about Tibet, of course. Yeah. It's faded into the background, isn't it?
Well, to some degree. There's still occasionally we see concerns of the Dalai Lama's here, for example, and recently we had some dignitaries in Wellington, and the Greens, as is their right, had a protest about Tibet. So there are social issues that have been a concern with China, but as time goes on and China embraces doing relationships and deals with Western countries, they seem to be more tolerant about diversity in their own patch, which is one of the really good things about international trade. It exposes countries to broader perspectives.
And of course, she's down here looking at the Chinese Consul General, down here looking at various Southland enterprises. Good to promote them too directly to her, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The problem we've got is actually supplying. I mean, I have taken people with quite big interest in sheep meat in our local works committed with 3 or 4 suppliers in there, and we just don't have enough product. I think, well, that's a much better product, much better scenario than when we had product we couldn't find a home for. But we're actually having to turn people away now because we simply do not have the product.
A free health check is just days away as SIT prepares to open its doors on its Spring Fever Health Expo. The first-year Bachelor of Nursing students have organised the annual event, which will take place on Thursday. Members of the public will be able to browse 16 stalls for information on topics such as healthy eating, men's health and toddler safety. The students will also carry out warrant of fitness checks on patients and then advise on whether they need further treatment. Registered nurses will be on site at Hanson Hall to sign off on all of the health checks. First-year student Lisa Vandenbeld says this year's Spring Fever theme will create a bright and colourful event. Doors open at 9 a.m. and the expo will run until 4 p.m. 500 greats and grands were taken on a trip down memory lane this afternoon at the Royal Ascot Park Hotel. A concert celebrating International Day of Older Persons and Greats and Grands Month showcased music and entertainment from the local area. 3 choirs of seniors performed old classics over the course of the 2-hour concert while the audience sang along. The Uniquely Us choir opened the show, followed by Waverley Park School's Kapahaka group. South Alive and Winton Men's Probus choirs, along with Brian Townley, Steve Wilcox and a ukulele group, also performed at the concert. Venture Southland's Jerry Ford hosted the event, which was intended to acknowledge Southland's older residents. That's it from the news team tonight. Sports up next from us. Good night.